Dear viewers, this is a 2017 Classic 500 Euro 4 model with the ABS. I'll quickly go over the controls first. Like the Classic 500 and the Bullet 500, it's got the speedometer, low fuel indicator, and the engine malfunction switch light. It lights up when there is an issue with the EFI or the emission control. As it's a Euro 4 model, it doesn't have the headlight switch, so as soon as you turn the ignition switch on, the headlight turns on. This is a fast idler switch. Some people call it choke, but it's not a choke. What it does is it allows the bike to idle fast, and that warms up the engine quicker. Because it's got a very simple EFI system, it actually helps the bike to warm up quicker. Now with modern EFIs, you won't see this switch, but Royal Enfield uses a very basic system. This is the fuel cap, and as you can see, it doesn't have any locks, so you can basically just unscrew it, which I find a bit surprising, because what it means is that anyone can actually open the fuel cap. However, you can't really steal fuel, because as you see, the tank actually protrudes up to here, hence you can't really steal fuel. As it clicks, you can tell that the fuel door is the fuel cap is properly tightened. That's the EFI. It's got a matte black engine. That's the reservoir for the rear brake fluid. That's the air filter, and as you can see, it's different from the Classic 350. The other major difference you'll see is the adjustment for the rear chain. Now in the older Classic 350 and the 500, there was a circular thing which adjusted the chain on both sides, whereas in this one it's much more modern. Like other Japanese bikes, you basically unscrew that nut from both sides and then you can adjust the chain. I think it's a much better system. Now obviously this bike has a rear disc brake with ABS. Now the brakes are okay, but definitely not as good as other Japanese bikes. That's the battery cover. And that's the storage, the toolbox, and you've got the electrical connections here. Now with the new Classic 350 and 500, if you have the side stand down, the bike doesn't start. With this one, it does start. However, as soon as you put it into gear, the engine shuts off. The front disc, and that's ABS as well. So this is the sensor. The sensor for ABS measures the wheel speed from here. Also, as you can see, the front, there is a hood in front of the light in the Classic 350 and 500, and that's gone now. So I'll turn the ignition on. As you can see, the lights turn on automatically. This is the emission control, the emission check sensor, and the 350 and the 500 doesn't have that. Also behind the chain you can see the ABS module, which the Classic 500 doesn't have. I'll start the bike up. As you can see that the ABS light is on, and as you start riding it turns off. The engine is very cold at the moment. So I've just used the fast idler switch to start the engine. Just turn it off now. Sounds similar to the classic 500. However, I will say that it rides slightly better because the front sprocket is different. Slightly more refined, but other than that it's very similar to the classic 500. So the question is, should you get one? Well, in my opinion, if you are gonna get a 500, get the newer 500 for two reasons. Number one, it's got ABS, and ABS really helps if you are riding on wet conditions. Also, the second reason is it's got rear disc brake, and rear disc brake will brake much better than the drum brake. And how does it compare to the classic 350? Well, if you are riding around town and you're not going on highways, I will say that 350 is still better, because 350 vibrates less than 500, the new one or old one or any 500. And the reason is that Royal Enfields don't have balancer shaft in their engine, hence the single piston goes up and down and the engine vibrates. That's the character of the bike, but 350 vibrates less. Hence, if you're riding in the city, it's just more comfortable. But if you're going on the highways, then 500 is the better choice. It does go faster. And as I said before, in my opinion, if you are going to get a 500, it's better to get the Euro 4 one. Thank you guys.